everybody.
Hello, please.
There we go, Robin. You're actually you're straight to the mark, aren't you? Aren't you happy with that hello, with that greeting?
Absolutely. Hello,
Yeah,
please.
exactly. So hello everyone, and welcome to the Sir. This is an interview podcast. I'm Hinchan. Here I interview VTubers, big or small, or who they are, how they became VTubers, and how VTubing impacted their lives. We here aim to abide by oral history methodologies to maintain a level of chronology, narrative, and ethics, but we are always open to being everywhere with everything at once from the chaos that is, of course, VTubing. But we're always. But also note, I am not alone in these interviews. During the interview, the chat will have a chance to question the interviewee, providing us with either trivial or in-depth insights to the lives of these fun and complex individuals. Also, for those VTubers that want to come on, our scheduling is still open. If you wish to share your story, send a message to the email and description below, alongside our interviewees' socials, or find it on this channel's About page, and we'll work out a date and time. The only qualifications as of now are having a model, level of following, and or experience in some level of content creation, whether it be streaming or prepared content. So, with that out of the way, Robin, what does your dental history look like?
Oh gosh. My dental history?
Yeah, your dental history. How many cavities did you make? How many cavities have been drilled or filled?
Oh man. My teeth is an interesting situation. Yo, I have a story. Once. I do have a tooth that grew in up towards like my nose one time, and I had to have surgery, and they like put like a brace on it, and they attached a chain to it to like drag it down into being in line with the rest of my teeth. Pretty crazy.
I had two bars on one of my canines.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had to be put in, yeah. I didn't get an aesthetics either, so yay, trauma.
Wow, just right off the bat, I'll tell you, I was taken by surprise. All right, you have me.
You've been outclassed.
I'm loose.
How do you pronounce coyote? Do you pronounce it coyote or coyote?
Coyote.
Coyote.
Absolutely, coyote. Coyote. I've been places where they say coyote, and I understand why you may wish to say coyote. You know, it's 2 syllables. Coyote is 3 syllables, but it's so much more fun to say coyote. Coyote.
And when was the last time you showered?
The last time I showered was Saturday morning. It's currently Monday.
It's currently Monday, so we're looking at 3 days.
I count 2.
Right, oh, count 2. Okay. Do you mean like Saturday was like a nighttime shower, or?
No, it was a morning shower, but my hair takes like so long to dry. It literally, if I don't diffuse it or anything, my hair literally takes like 8 hours to dry.
All right.
I'm very clean, I promise.
Yeah. What was the longest you went without one?
The longest I ever went without one? Around a week. A week. Maybe I would happily say the longest I ever went without a shower was 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right.
It was probably more, but honestly, it probably was more. But I'm confident in saying 10 days.
And why did that happen?
Oh, you know, just life, a variety of things.
Variety.
I caught the bad fifis. The bad fifis.
I got that.
One of those like, well, I'm not going outside anyway. What's the point? You know? Has that ever happened to you folks? I don't know. Am I alone in that?
long as I've been was about like 5 days, and that was when I got COVID.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 5 days. Yeah, nasty, nasty. Yeah, my scalp was all scratchy and hair all oily.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, right?
We know,
Yeah.
like, depending on the type of hair that you have, not
Mhm.
washing your hair with like shampoo is actually good for your hair. Once again, depending on the type of hair that you have,
Uh,
right? Because the oils that your hair collects, if you shampoo it, it washes all the good oils out, and then it's like sometimes you need them. So beware.
true. There's always that caveat. It has to be super specific, or a very super specific caveat, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what does your room smell like?
What does my room smell like?
Yeah,
Uh,
these are important questions. I have to
a-
ask. I'm sure a lot of
absolutely.
your audience members just want to just give that nice sniffing, that sense of smell.
It smells like vanilla and coconut.
Vanilla and coconut. Right.
I also ordered a candle from. I'm gonna plug a friend real quick. Our I believe a mutual friend, our friend Shadow's Proxy.
Hmm.
He had a promotion with a candle company. I ordered one of his candles. The Last of Us scented themed candles. Very good. Excellent.
Oh,
Highly recommend.
does it smell like mushrooms?
A little bit. It's definitely got like an earthy tone to it. I haven't lit it yet. It's just like sitting on my desk, but it provides this like outdoorsy ambiance.
Nice. I would expect mushrooms. That's how it all starts, you know?
Cordyceps. It smells like cordyceps.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's actually cordyceps extract that you can buy on Amazon, right?
What? Really?
Yeah, you can buy it. You can probably put it into a cake as well and eat it.
Hmm. It was Iron Clover Candle Company. That's the one that Shadow's Proxy teamed up with.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. So vanilla, coconut, and The Last of Us. That's what my room smells like.
Mm, I got it. All right. All right, Robin, could you introduce yourself to our audience and share about your journey as a VTuber? Pronouns, how much wasabi you can eat in one sitting, and when did you hear about VTubing?
Absolutely. So I am Robin Osiria, the Shinobi idol. When I'm not defending the people of my village with my epic combat skills, I'm entertaining them with my singing and performances. My pronouns, I enjoy she or they, but really anything will be fine if you are nice to me. I've been VTubing for about 9 months now. I have been a fan since the first moment I really saw VTubers. I went through the Utai the singer, Japanese English cover singer, to music pipeline to wait, they're live? Who is this animated anime character? That was the pipeline I arrived at in VTubing. I eventually became a fan of the larger corporate VTubers, in particular Hololive. I enjoyed Calliope Mori, her song. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on the exact name. If you'll excuse me, would you please rip that song? I heard it and I was like, what is this? It's such a catchy song. And then she streams, she plays video games as well. I was hooked instantly. So yeah, I became a fan of all VTubers, all sizes, all denominations. These days, I typically really enjoy watching some smaller VTubers. Particularly personal friends, people that I support.
Uh-huh.
And so I enjoy VTubers up and down and all around the spectrum.
Mm. You mentioned denominations of VTubers. What do you mean by that?
Just all sorts of types. The different varieties of content, 3D, 2D, I like FPS VTubers. I like VTubers that focus on music. There are so many different forms of niches of VTubers and stuff, and I found one that I like in most of them.
Uh, so, when did you hear about it? I assume around like 2020 when Hollow Live really picked off.
It was around then. Let me think. So it really began for me there. I had a friend who ran an Evangelion server, and I knew he was a big Evangelion fan and whatnot. And so one day I was bored. This was during lockdown. I was bored and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch Evangelion and I'm going to join the server and we're going to participate and see what's going on. Everyone's desperate for all sorts of connection during that time. And so I did so. I joined the server. I watched Evangelion, and I'm sure that many of us know just like how good the Evangelion theme song is, right?
Huh?
Do 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 do. And so, but I didn't speak Japanese. I didn't understand any Japanese, so I searched Evangelion theme song English version, and I came across this singer, Yutai type character. Her name is Reichi, and I came to understand that she was one of the original, Yutais. Some of the first people to do that. She's Indonesian, but she does a lot of English versions of Japanese anime video game songs. And so I subscribed to her YouTube channel. I fell down the rabbit hole. I enjoy a variety of her music. I like so many of her covers, so many of her original songs. And so one day I'm on YouTube and I see the little live button next to her, right? Next to her thumbnail. And I'm like, Reichi's live? What could she be doing? And so I click on, and that is where I saw my first VTuber. I see her in her room. She has a giant Nintendo Switch on the back wall showing like the live chat. And I just instantly got it. And there she was. She was talking. I believe she was probably doing some sort of karaoke or something of the sort. And that was my first interaction with a VTuber. And I instantly just like got it. I just got it. I was like, here's the combination of the performer behind the avatar. I didn't know what to call them at the time, right? The performer behind the VTuber model, how that design and their personality creates the character, how the room behind her, and it all comes together to create this perfect performance that I just instantly just like got, and I understood it as art. I know there's a lot of different sorts of types of VTubers. Some folks take it very seriously. Some folks are very intentional about what they put out in the world. Some folks want to have fun with their friends. Some people don't have any idea or any goals whatsoever. And I'm not saying anything negative against those folks, because oftentimes they're the most entertaining. But I instantly just like recognized the potential and the artistry of this production. I was hooked and I never looked back.
All right. And when did you start wanting to stream? Wanting to be a part of this artistry?
Well, I have a background in music and performing. I did live singing for many years. I did theatrical performances for many, many years. And as I got older, I started a career and everything of the sort. That's stuff like that had to take more of a backseat. It was less of a priority in my life. And so I began to live a little vicariously by watching these VTubers, the unarchived karaoke's, the song covers. And so I always had this idea in the back of my mind, right? But I didn't know how to begin. I didn't know what the process was. It didn't look like an it was a fun concept, but I didn't understand where the beginning of the pipeline was. And so, let's see, I would say it was around a year ago now. I was playing through one of my friend's favorite games, Bloodborne, and I was streaming it like through the PlayStation, right? Because the PlayStation has the built-in streaming function. And then random folks were, not very many, but a handful of folks would come in and join the chat, and I'd always be like, kind of like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, we're just hanging out. But I enjoyed streaming. I realized that I enjoyed streaming. I liked the entire vibes. And so then I took a look at some of the VTubers I enjoyed. I took a look at my skills, my interests, and I thought to myself, like, Robin, I think there's a real decent chance that you could do this. You like games, you like singing, you're capable of performance and presentation, production. And I was like, I think I could do that. And I really decided to around this time last year. I decided to actively pursue it. It took me a couple more months to get things together, really search Google how to become a VTuber. And just a couple months later, here we are, a VTuber.
So when would you say you started Googling all that?
I would say in August of 2022.
2020.
And my first stream was in November of 2022. Mm-hmm. So it took me a second.
I got that. Did you stream beforehand or streamed as a non-VTuber beforehand? Is there a very old pre-Robin stream out there?
There is. There is. Significantly less successfully, I would say. But I do have some past experience with streaming. I do. I was not a VTuber, and I was not a PNG tuber. So what would that make me?
Flesh tuber.
Perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps I was. I don't know. The world may never know.
Yeah.
But I made it to around 30 followers. And that is where that journey ended. And I'm kind of glad that it did, because now this one has begun.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that you enjoy a variety of content, correct?
Yes.
With a focus on shooter and story-based games. How do you choose the games you stream, and what attracts you to these particular games?
Well, when I first began streaming, my approach was different. I chose games that I thought I could provide an interesting perspective to. I wanted to, for some reason, when I first started streaming, I thought that I was the only person streaming these games, doing stuff like this. I particularly enjoyed the latest Call of Duty release. Has a mode called DMZ, and it's it's Escape from Tarkov, but it's in Call of Duty. And I just thought that this is so underappreciated. I'm going to go in and teach everybody how to appreciate this. of course. I don't know why I thought that. There are literally tens of thousands of Call of Duty streamers. But I try to pick, and this persists now to today, is I try to pick things that I think I can offer some perspective to. Something interesting to say, something to contribute to the category, right? Because when you're streaming, you select a category and you stream in that category. People who look in that category can find you. And so I always try and find something that I can contribute to the category, right? There's sometimes that some days I just want to play my FPS games, my competitive FPS games. Not too long ago, like a month ago or so, I just had a Valorant week where I didn't have a schedule, but I still streamed every day, and I was just like, I'm in the hole, folks. We're playing Valorant every week. But I don't always think that I struggle with that because I don't always know what I'm contributing to the category. So I try and pick things that I can contribute to, or at this point, at this stage of my journey, I feel like I know enough about my audience that I have the ability to pick some things that I think folks will enjoy. For example, I know a lot of my community at this point enjoys the story-based games, and we enjoy music together. So we'll be playing Stray Gods, a role-playing musical, over the next 2 days, and that's something I'm really interested in, and I think that they will too. I think they will be too.
All right. You also mentioned upcoming non-game content that you'd like to do. What can your audience expect from this direction?
Well, in the future, in the near future, Chat and I will be going on a date.
Oh, a date?
Yes, we're going on a date.
What
I'm
is
gonna
that?
ask them. I'm gonna ask them out in the next 2 weeks, I think.
All
And I
right.
hope they say yes.
All right. And what happens after that?
I don't know. I think that's up to them.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I like to do actively. I like to do unarchived karaoke pretty frequently. I'll be streaming. I'll be recording my next cover song live during stream. So, you record multiple takes of vocals and stuff. We're going to do all that on stream. So we have a bunch of non-gaming content in the works. Honestly, I'm kind of burned out of games. I'm kind of burned out of games at the moment, which is difficult as a streamer. So that's definitely something we're working more towards.
I see. Especially that date idea. You can always attach your GoPro to yourself.
Yes. No, I worry some folks think that I have forgotten about it, maybe, and I definitely haven't. It's just I would say, dare I say, it is my most ambitious and interesting stream idea yet. So it's just it kind of takes a second. It's gonna be like a choose your own adventure sort of
I
way.
got that. Yeah.
So it'll be ambitious, but it'll be a lot of fun.
I mean, all I can imagine is I remember distinctly a clip from one of Silvervale's streams where she pretty much asks a person in Japan to walk around and go into certain different stores and whatnot and do stuff in there.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to tune in and find out.
I'll have to tune in and find out. We'll have to all tune in and find out about that. Yeah. How do you anticipate, or how well do you think this expansion to non-gaming content will do with your current and potentially future audience?
I think it'll do well. I low key think that my audience would prefer if I just didn't play any video games. Like if I was just not a video game streamer whatsoever. I think sometimes they would prefer that. Because one thing that we really we really enjoy, and I think I do well, and I think it's the kind of vibe and community that we've fostered is like we just like talking about stuff. Like we just talk about anything all the time. You know, we'll be playing Overwatch, and you know, I'll play 20 matches of Overwatch, and we'll probably talk about Overwatch for 10% of the time. You know, we'll just talk about anything and everything. We'll talk about the weather. We'll talk about the differences in the manga between Attack on Titan and the television show. You know, like we'll just talk about whatever. And I think that's something we enjoy. And I like to think that I do the talking pretty well. So I think less of a focus on gaming might be good for us.
Over the course of like you said you've been VTubing for about 9 months now, right?
Yes.
All right. How often have you received feedback on how you carry yourself during stream?
Well, this is an interesting question because honestly, I don't receive as much feedback as I'd wish I did. Like, even at this point, I know that a lot of VTubers go through their pre-debut phase, right? And from my perspective, during the pre-debut phase is all about finding out what you like, what your audience likes, what kind of stuff do you like to stream, you know, what's successful, what's not successful. And honestly, I don't feel like I'm a whole heck of a lot closer to answering that question for myself. Like I have just raw metrics, like, you know, in terms of viewership numbers, follower numbers and everything. But the longer I do this, the more that I realize that doesn't really matter. And that's not, or never has been particularly been my goal. You know, I want to connect with people on an emotional level. You know, I want to improve their days. I want them to share their successes and stories with me, and we celebrate together. And so I really, honestly, I don't feel like I get enough feedback as I want, honestly. And until, like, sometimes I go through phases where I'm just like, I just shut down, I cancel everything, I lay in bed for a couple days, you know, I hide offline and grind competitive games in silence for 12 hours. And that's when people really like reach out, like, oh, and they say very, very nice things about me. And, you know, I love and appreciate everybody, but sometimes I wish that I got feedback before I got sad. You know, I wish folks would tell me, and if you're watching, you know, I wish you'd tell me more frequently. What do you like? What do you dislike? So that I can, you know, I can do better for all of us. It's lonely. It's strange because it's such a lonely thing to do sometimes, even though you're being so vulnerable and you're sharing your time, your thoughts, your voice with so many others around the world, which is really, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But it can be almost like a reminder of how lonely it really is sometimes. Because, you know, when you turn off the computer and you go sit on the couch, you know, you're left with your own thoughts, and there's a lot more thoughts than I thought there was going to be, which is always interesting.
Would you say streaming was a learning curve for you because of this lack of feedback?
Absolutely. And you know, I don't mean to sound negative or anything about the lack of feedback, because I really don't think it's like the viewer's responsibility. But yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. There's definitely things to figure out. There's definitely stuff that you have to figure out. What do you enjoy doing? Because one thing I've learned is that if you're not enjoying yourself, like they can tell. It is like readily apparent. And so that's always difficult. I recently completed a 24-hour stream for my birthday. And we watched a little bit of my very first stream ever. It was an Overwatch stream that I like downloaded the VOD for and everything. And yeah, I would say I've definitely, there was definitely a learning curve, because I don't think that streamer was bad, but I think this one is better. And I think everyone would probably agree.
Mm-hmm. I see. So undoubtedly, you've noticed a change in how you carry yourself since you started.
Absolutely.
Now, you stream on both YouTube and Twitch. Why is that? Or why is it always separate streams?
So the reason I stream on both YouTube and Twitch, the short version is that most of the time, Twitch has better discoverability. And I believe that Twitch also has better community interaction features such as channel points, raids. I understand YouTube has raids now though too. But particularly channel points, polls, predictions, all sorts of stuff. As a VTuber with channel points, there's so much stuff that they can do to mess with my model and stuff. Sometimes they will they'll give me my little plushie, my blowhigh plushie and stuff, which is always very fun. But a lot of that stuff isn't possible on YouTube. And so that's most of the reason that I stream mostly on Twitch. But on YouTube, there are times that I want to stream on YouTube also exactly for that reason. So there are certain story-based experiences. Right now we're doing The Expanse, a Telltale series. The Expanse is one of my favorite sci-fi novels. It's, very reading, discussion, or cutscene discussion, story-based style content. And it just doesn't lend itself well to like sound effects and stuff on the screen and all sorts of stuff like that. So for certain series or experiences, I try to do them on YouTube. Another reason to do stuff on YouTube is for discoverability purposes, right? So for example, since we're doing The Expanse right now, that's kind of the freshest example in my mind, right? The Expanse, a Telltale series category on Twitch, is not a good category. It's not a well-performing category. Unfortunately for me, as an Expanse fan, I don't think there's a whole lot of people who are just chomping at the bit to watch or play the new episode the minute it releases, right? And so I've been streaming them on YouTube the minute they releases, so that when the stream completes, the video title becomes The Expanse, a Telltale series, episode 2 full gameplay walkthrough. And it does more and more work for me as a YouTube video, and honestly allowing to stream it instead of streaming it on Twitch and then downloading it, uploading it and stuff. Just streaming it to YouTube first has helped me tremendously in terms of being like a first mover advantage.
I see. What does your YouTube streaming setup compare to your Twitch streaming setup? Like what's different about it? What's similar about it?
So there's really not a whole lot different. I do take off, like currently on my overlay, I usually have like subscribers, latest subscriber, follower, bits user on it, but I don't display that on YouTube because it's not particularly relevant to YouTube. I try to minimize myself a little bit more. I'm definitely a little bit smaller on my YouTube streams because I think on YouTube the focus is more on the content itself, and on Twitch the focus is on me, the performer, most of the time. So that's one difference. I just use the Streamlabs YouTube chat for YouTube streams. I played around with like a fancy plugin one, much like the one you have here today, which I really enjoy, but it doesn't really work for me on YouTube streams. And I don't know, it's always confusing when I hit the like connect account YouTube, you know, and then all those docs change and stuff. Obviously, I normally on Twitch I have like the Twitch activity feed, Twitch quick actions, stuff like that in my OBS, and then on YouTube all that stuff goes away and I get very confused. It's always like trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Yeah, of course.
Whenever I get ready to go on YouTube, and back and forth, vice versa.
Have you ever encountered something where you accidentally start your stream on YouTube compared to Twitch?
I haven't.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if it happens.
Mm.
I've had a close call a couple times with recording, but not streaming. I think it's because I don't think I'll ever go live on YouTube accidentally. Just because like when I stream on YouTube, I low-key have like, I get like white knuckle grasping the table syndrome, you know? I'm like very like, okay, everything has to be very polished. Everything has to be quite good, you know? On YouTube. On Twitch, I'm a little more carefree, but let me think. Yeah, YouTube confuses me because when you switch to YouTube in OBS, it has like a start streaming and then there's like also a go live button. And I'm like, what is the difference between these things? I don't understand how it works. But I think YouTube's waiting rooms are really cool. I wish Twitch had waiting rooms.
I got that. How do you approach managing your time and energy while ensuring your content remains engaging and authentic for your viewers?
I go about 450% all the time until I crash and die for about 3 days. Until I just burn out and crash. So I have very poor time management. You know, I stream frequently. I stream a lot. And yeah, I go really, really intense until I just like snap sometimes, and I have to take some time off. I take a couple days away, a couple days to recharge. Honestly, I'm kind of in that position right now. Like at this moment, I enjoy. I'm so thankful. Thank you for having me. Of course, this is absolutely a lot of fun and fantastic.
Thank you for coming.
And so it's like I'm happy to do it. There's things like this week was gonna be a not schedule week. This week I wasn't gonna use a schedule. I was just gonna do whatever I wanted. But it turned into one of these weeks where there's like too much stuff that I want to do. You know, this week, like I'm using a schedule, but not out of like, I need to have a schedule this week. I'm using a schedule this week because there was already like a schedule in my mind of what we were going to do. So it's like, well, I might as well put it to paper. But scheduling stuff is getting to the point where it's stressing me out a little bit. And I think I'm soon to reevaluate how I do it.
let's. I'm just gonna go through my. Remember, I had that question somewhere here.
Hey, no worries. I'm gonna take a drink.
Go ahead, take a drink.
I'm yapping and flapping.
Yeah, that's your job in this session. Just keep talking. I, I think I can roll it off the tongue here. Can you? What do you plan on doing to reduce overbooking or putting a lot of work on you? Specifically? Are you planning on just on figuring out how to distribute your workload throughout the week more sparsely, or
I think that I will actually end up streaming and creating content more without like a super strict schedule. Like for me, I honestly I kind of have this like honestly like deep in my bones, right? I have this like rebellious spirit. Like I won't do what you tell me kind of thing. You know, like if it says like 6 p.m., then I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, but what if we go early? What if we go late? You know, I think there's always a part of me that wants to bend the rules. And especially as a VTuber fan, you know, that's really how I consider myself. I consider myself a VTuber fan before I do consider myself a VTuber. I think in many ways I'm like a mockingbird of a VTuber, where I'm not really sure, honestly, like just in all honesty, I'm not 100% sure what I really bring to the VTuber space. And I think I'm mockingbird and I imitate and I replicate a lot of the things that I see and I enjoy in other creators, not to like copy them, but because I think that I have similar skill sets or interests. I think once upon a time I was an actor, right? And I thought I liked being an actor. And I do like being an actor. I still do it occasionally. But what I figured out was I really liked being a director, because I liked making the decisions, you know. Oh, no, what's the word? Demonstrating my taste, because I think I have good taste in things. And so, yeah, I think that I just like, I see what I like in other creators, and then I kind of mockingbird, you know, I imitate, I repackage and show, like when somebody else does something really good, I'm like, you know, I kind of want to, like, I bet I could do that in like a similar way and put like my spin on it, and it'll be interesting, because I think it's like, you know, so a lot of times I feel like not enough people saw that. And maybe if I do it, then it's like a greater opportunity for that idea. And the original question was, how do I structure, you know, how do I fix this, right? And so I think what has happened is I've imposed these rules and restrictions on myself about what I can do, like in terms of I need a schedule. I can't play this sort of game. I can't listen to this sort of music. You know, I can't react to stuff on stream, and I still don't like reacting to stuff. That's like a not imposed restriction thing. That's like a me. I don't like that kind of thing. So I think what I need to do is realize that really the only person's rules I'm playing on are my own, you know? And I basically just need to chill out. And don't give myself rules to bend and break. Because if there's rules to bend and break me and my personality, you know, like I think I always will. So if I don't have like a set schedule or whatnot, you know, if I can take a shower and be 30 minutes late, but like have clean hair and stuff, you know, like I'll perform better if as I was making my schedule for this week, you know, I got to the Sunday space, you know, and I almost typed in just like, how am I supposed to know what I'm going to do on Sunday? What am I supposed to know a week in advance? So I think, you know, if I just like relax a little bit and stop trying to package and plan everything, I think the quality of the content really will be better when I focus less on checking arbitrary boxes that nobody created and nobody's checking to see if I followed. You know, it's kind of weird.
What does meaningful content creation mean to
What does meaningful content creation mean to me? I think it's really about the experience
you?
that you share with other people. I think that's really what it's about. I think it's about experiencing that moment together, whether it be a plot twist or an exciting clutch in a game, you know, a rank up or a fail, you know, it's looking over to that other monitor and sharing that feeling with other people. It's when we can all be excited or in despair or anything together. I think for me, something's really not effective, regardless of how many like views or lack thereof it gets. You know, something's really not like effective for me when I can tell that we're just like not getting it. You know, and I think in the same way that I think the audience can tell when the streamer isn't having such a good time, I think the streamer can tell when the audience isn't having such a good time. And for me, it is really about like how engaged is chat? Are they showing interest in the activity that we're participating in? You know, there's a whole lot of I don't look at viewer count anymore. I don't honestly, I don't care about followers anymore. It's really like, are the people who are here engaged and having a good time? Because I feel like that's something I control. I try not to worry about things that I cannot control anymore. So when we're focused, we're engaged, we're having a good time with the time that we have together, I think that's effective content for me.
Do you see content creation as work?
I do see content creation as work. I do see content creation as work.
Do you see
Not because
do,
go ahead.
do you see your content creation as work?
I do.
Alright.
I do. I see my own content creation as work. Not because I don't want to do it or anything. You know, I don't think a lot of us, the overwhelming majority of us, like enjoy work or working necessarily. If you do, shout out to you, right? Like, I'm happy for you. But I don't mean it in that way. It's something that I enjoy so much that I can't, you know, I feel bad when I don't put the effort or the time into it that I know that I could. You know? Like I want to make stuff that people enjoy, that people are proud of, that I'm proud of, because I can't, like, I feel bad when I don't. I feel really weird whenever I, you know, don't have a schedule for a week, or I just play an FPS game with nothing really interesting in it, and then it's like one of my most successful streams of the week, or sometimes the month. you know, and I'm just like, well, what happened? You know, like it gives me cognitive dissonance whenever I don't try very hard and it does well, my content does well, and it upsets me sometimes when I put a lot of work into something and then it doesn't do well. And I think most creators would probably agree with that.
Mm. You were saying something on the previous question on do you see content creation as work?
Yes, I do.
yeah.
I do. I think most people, I think most creators do in some capacity, in some way, some fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But I do.
Do you view your work as a VTuber as a job?
Do I view it as a job?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I don't view it as a job.
No.
I don't view it as a job because I view it more akin to like a community theater production,
Mm-hmm.
where it's really like a thing that everybody kind of does because they really like it. You know, whether you're a creator or a viewer, you know, a participant in the community or whatnot. It's like, you know, we're really doing this because it's fun. It's something that's born from enjoyment rather than necessity. So I don't view it or treat it as a job.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Why not of a necessity?
Well, because I don't know, like I don't know if it's necessary that I don't think it's like, because at the end of the day, you know, I don't feel like we're doing necessarily life-changing, world-changing stuff. And folks, I've made this comment before, and folks have said stuff to me, very kind things, you know, that says Robin, your content has helped me so much. I know that folks in my community have made friends with themselves and each other, and we really do have fun, and we're growing something fantastic together. We have a great time, regardless of what's going on in the world. You know, we're having a good time together. But I don't know if it's, you know, it's hard to say that it's just necessary. You know, it's not, which is funny, right? Because it's not surgery, it's not life or death, but it's entertainment. And entertainment is necessary. It is. You know, back in the old days, they would see how far they could throw rocks, you know, just for something to do. So it is important. And
would you say your content is not important?
I guess as I'm talking out loud and we're hearing this, I'm hearing myself think, you know, I guess it is more important than perhaps I had pegged it, you know. But it's, and I think my content is important. But I don't know. I feel like it's not. I struggle sometimes to see what I bring to the world as an entertainer. You know, I really don't think I'm like particularly unique or particularly interesting. And so every time someone says super nice things about me and they say that they're having a fun time in my community and viewing my content, you know, it's always very like humbling and very pleasing to me, but it's sometimes it's hard for me to see it myself, you know.
Why do you not see yourself as interesting?
I don't know. It's just like I think I am interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's just not like I sometimes I fail to see how other people do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think I'm my biggest fan, and I think you have to be to make content and to be successful. You know, I think you at least have to enjoy what you do. You have to be interested in it. You have to think it's decent, and that's how you keep going and stuff. But I feel like I'm so weird that I'm like, like honestly, a lot of the stuff that I make is like, a lot of times I say that, sometimes I wish I wasn't Robin so that I could enjoy Robin's content, because I think I would, but I have kind of weird taste, I'm kind of a weird individual. So it's always interesting for me when people enjoy and connect with me on some of my stranger trails.
Would you say that a connection is very important?
It is. The other day we were streaming Valorant. We were on Fracture, and somebody in the chat came in, and they were just like talking about. They were just like, "Yeah, I'm watching The Walking Dead." It was like a new chatter, right?
Uh-huh.
And they were just like, "Yeah, I'm watching The Walking Dead, and I had to take a break, and now I'm here. How's it going, Robin, and whatnot?" And I'm like, "Yo, I love The Walking Dead. Holy cow!" And, like, we tangent about it for like 2 hours. The connection really is important. It's the most rewarding part. It's scary to put yourself out there, sometimes, for fear of ridicule or critique or anything in the sort. But it's usually worth it. It's usually worth it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So excluding the information you don't want to disclose about your model, what attracted you to the design you're using as a VTuber?
Well, I saw, if you take away the mask and the antlers,
Yeah.
I see the character here, right? I see the character in this face, in these eyes. I get it. And so I know that VTubers oftentimes, change their model, change their hair, change their outfit, and whatnot. So I didn't necessarily pick this setup based on a lot of those exterior things. I expected to change a lot of them. I expected to update them in the future. But I'm right now I'm looking at the thumbnail for this stream, right? And I see like the personality in my face. I see the character and the reflection in it. And so I thought it was a fantastic like base for me to begin creating content with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Was she going to say something? Was she going to continue on saying something? All right. Let's ask the next question. When did you start using this model, or when did you encounter it?
This was in November of 2020. Or not 2020, 2022. And I just like I Googled, I searched VTuber on Twitter, and this is where I arrived. It's kind of difficult to find VTuber models, you know, especially ones like it's hard to find VTuber models if you're an English speaking individual because a lot of the websites and stuff are in Japanese. I'm particularly speaking of Booth, you know, the website Booth is kind of difficult to navigate. And so yeah, it finally took me time to find these ones, and it was unique, you know. Nobody's gonna be skinwalking me.
No skinwalking.
for the foreseeable future. And so that was appealing.
I got that. Why do you have 5 katanas?
Why do I have 5 katanas? Because I'm a sick Shinobi idol. Because I defend the people of my village with my combat skills, and I slice them up. We participate in a lot of combat. You know, my village is so pissed because it's like there's like half of them that wish I was a showman and a performer and idol all the time, and there's half of them that wishes I was just a shinobi all the time. So they're constantly just like butting heads. But like I'll never be like satisfied entirely doing one or the other. So I'm always bouncing back and forth and whatnot. So I need a lot of swords. One of them is actually a dummy sword for tricks and flips and you know, gadgets and stuff like that. I can do this trick where I catch it in my mouth, but it's actually like a rubber dummy sword, so it looks a lot cooler than it is. But yeah.
Do you use your mouth for any other katana? Any other sword in your possession?
No.
No? You don't go Zero style at any point? No?
No.
I see. You're not that cool. I assume I can only
I'm
guess
very
now.
cool. I'm very cool.
Keep telling yourself that as you can't
I'm epic.
wield three swords at once.
I wield 5 swords at once.
So if you don't mind me asking, how much did your model cost?
Approximately $1,200. Approximately.
Oh, wow.
It could be higher. It could be lower. I don't exactly remember. But in that neighborhood.
Definitely more than what I charge. Anyway, how do you feel about using a pre-made model compared to a custom?
Well, in some ways, there are things that are a lot easier with it. Like, for example, I'm a creative person, right? But my skill points weren't distributed in the tree of like original design, you know, original conception. Like there were a couple other ideas floating around about my VTuber persona before this one emerged, and none of them were particularly compelling. You know, I'm like you know how folks create like OCs, original characters, and stuff like that. That was never like my thing. I liked reinterpreting existing items, properties. You know, I was the fan fiction person more so than the original story type person. And so in that way it's better for me, especially considering I come from like an acting perspective first, you know, where you really don't have a whole lot of say in your character direction. You know, I mean, you do, but you don't for a lot of times. And so I think that's one of my skill sets is sort of interpreting what is given to me and interpreting it as well as I can, making it compelling and whatnot. Just like the original like conception stuff is really, really difficult for me. So I think now we are moving in the direction of a completely original designed model, more specifically for myself.
I see.
But I don't think I would have been able to do so at the very beginning.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
So, wait, give me a moment.
No problem. I'm going to take a drink. I feel like you always have to say that as a VTuber, you know, because they can't see like that we're holding up a beverage and taking a drink. You know, there's no context. There's no like natural context.
Yeah,
So I always have to say it.
We lack the physical abilities to lift the cup on screen. But yeah, I just need to adjust my mic. It seems like I was adjust my mic 5 times during the stream.
Me too. Dog, you hear something, you hear like one thing you don't like, right? And then you're like, well, yeah, I can change this so we can do this. It's like, I do the same thing.
Exactly. But so, all right. I think we can take on questions now. Let's take like a 5-minute break if we're just going to be drinking a bit of water right now. And for all y'all that haven't heard the beginning parts of my introduction, well, it's time for you to shine and ask questions. Keep them within TOS, and we should be pretty well.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. We will be happy to answer them as well as we can, as well as I can. I'm being interviewed. I'm used to hosting, so
get hosted.
I'm getting hosted. I'm getting rotated.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, ask away.
Any questions for your Robin?
Any questions, anybody? Not any? All right, we got one from Fastnaktaf. Fastnaktaf. I think that I'm pronouncing it right.
What has been your
Baz? Like, okay, Baz, not Bass. Okay. What has been your favorite stream so far, and what game?
My favorite stream was definitely my 24-hour birthday stream. That was a lot of fun, but I feel like that's kind of a free answer. You know, I enjoyed the challenge of that. I enjoyed all the fun that we had. I enjoyed the variety, all the different stuff that we did. I enjoyed that a lot. So that's kind of a free answer. Let me try and think of another one. My favorite game to stream so far was mostly, I would say it was Doki Doki Literature Club, because I somehow had never played it in this whole time until I became a VTuber. You know, I was like a competitive gamer. I was aware of it, but it didn't like run in my like circle. You know, it's not a game that I would have played like organically. And so I really enjoyed streaming that because it was clear that chat was having a good time. It was clear like they were making references, inside jokes to each other about the events of the story, and I just like had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what to expect. And it was just like they spoiled me a couple times. You know, they spoiled me a couple times, and that sucked. but I think that's the nature of doing games like that. Like for example, I really want to do the Outer Wilds because I understand it has a very interesting story, but I'm afraid of being spoiled in chat. But Doki Doki was a really good experience to stream because I so obviously had no idea what I was in for, and everybody else did understand what I was in for, and so that like dichotomy I thought was particularly entertaining.
Oh my gosh, Robin is going that path. Wow. Just wait until that character dies off. I can't wait
exactly.
to see her reaction.
Exactly. No, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was like because I was expecting like jump scares, and I'm not 100% sure what I expected, but it wasn't that, and the game was fantastic, and you know I'll just never be able to experience it like that again for the first time again with chat in my community and stuff. That was the first stream of mine, and I think Doki Doki will also take, you know, my favorite stream so far, because I have, you know, I've always been very fortunate to have a community of engaged chatters and community members and stuff, but I think most people will agree, right? You know, like especially at the very beginning, you can identify like each individual person who's chatting. You know, oftentimes you know that person or whatnot. You know, you built a very personal connection with that one, and it was either like the first or the second Doki Doki stream where like I looked over and for the first time, like I saw chat. I didn't see like Baz and Luaki and other like individual community members. I just saw like the conglomerate chat.
Oh, I see. I see.
It was
like that.
Yeah, I was moving fast and I couldn't like possibly keep up with everything that was happening, all the individual conversations and whatnot. I just looked over and I saw chat and I was like,
It's like that that captain look meme, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That big giant ship off in the distance, ready to ram you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like I always thought it would, respectfully, right? I think it's kind of strange when people say like chat, like what do you think of this? And like nobody's chatted in like 45 minutes. You know, which is fine. Shout out to lurkers. We love our lurkers, right? Lurkers are the backbone of Twitch, YouTube, everything like that.
I know, right?
But
I know, right? I definitely lurk in your streams.
You do?
Yeah.
You lurk in my streams?
Yeah, I have to.
I have a lot of lurkers, which is really, you know, I'm very fortunate to have so. But I always think it's strange when people are like, when streamers are like, we're, you know, like, chat, what do we want to do today? And it's like, nobody's chatted.
Three of the regular people.
Right, and it's like, I don't know. So I hesitate. I think just saying like chat is often so like, not. I said that very dramatically. Oftentimes, I think referring to folks as chat is kind of dehumanizing. It kind of is a depersonalization of the real human connection that you're forming with people, right? But yeah, that first or that second, it was one of them. Doki Doki streams where I looked over. That was the first time that I saw chat in my in my streaming career, and it was like, whoa.
I got it. So
Okay.
Yeah. So in many VTuber spaces, there has been a very welcoming attraction to VTubing with queer identifying folks. In a sense, at least, what I've been able to reason, and drawing from anthropologist Clifford Geertz, an avatar or a VTuber avatar is like one of many symbols of significance to represent or express one's identity or even be part of a certain culture or subculture. Do you follow?
I do.
All
I'm
right.
yeah, anthropology. I'm prepared.
Yeah. There's some interdisciplinary things I always I like to throw in. Um, Now, from my memory, you recently came out as trans, correct?
That is correct.
Mm,
Trans femme.
I got that. How did VTubing attracted you as a trans femme person?
Uh, well, honestly, it was like my model is androgynous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose because I realized I was trans and I decided to transition and I began the process of transitioning long before I became a streamer, right? But that as it happens in your real physical life, there's a lot of different things that happen on different timelines, right? And so I was wondering, I presented as entirely male. As a streamer, I recall at first I had he, they pronouns in my bio.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of funny memes about pronouns in bio timelines, and
Yeah.
I found myself on one. I started at one end of them, and now I'm firmly on the other end of them. But like even then, usually, and I don't know how folks are gonna feel about this. But like usually, by the time I tell you something, it's old information.
Mm-hmm.
It's old information, and so by the time I was at like he, they online, publicly, I
Yeah.
was already at like she, they
Mm-hmm.
internally, right? But I mean, I say that, right? But now I really don't have much like information left to share because now I'm just like being like openly public in my confusion at this point, which is very helpful to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I selected this model and I presented myself in the way that I did because honestly, I was kind of looking for an out. I was kind of looking for an out. I was like, if I can present myself as a male VTuber and I do really well and I have a lot of fun, then like perhaps I don't need to do this because there are days that I'm very excited about this, and by this I'm talking about transitioning, and there are days that like I'm very not. Like I'm cognizant of the struggles that I will face throughout my life
Yeah.
because of it, which is difficult to wrestle with and to grapple with. And so my thinking initially, one, I was trying to distract myself from from these looming
Mm-hmm.
difficult thoughts, and I was trying to see if I could take it. I wanted to see if I could take it. Meeting new people as a he, as a him. Have you? What's the sound? It's like, I'm a male. I'm a he. I'm a him. I don't do none of that pronouns business.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if I can like do this and feel comfortable, then maybe it'll change how I feel. And it didn't. I didn't really expect it to, which is why my avatar is so androgynous. I built myself an escape ladder. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm a he. I'm a him. uh, yeah, I was, perhaps if I can do this, because as a trans person, right,
Yeah.
I experience so much like physical dysphoria with my physical appearance
Mm-hmm.
that I was, like I've concluded, right? I will never feel comfortable in this body. But I was wondering to see if perhaps I would feel comfortable as a male anime character body.
I get that.
And if I'm successful and I'm happy, then perhaps I don't have to, there's a universe where I don't have to confront the outside world with my body and how I feel about it, and have those difficult conversations with people, and have that difficult presentation with the world. It was almost like a last. It really was. It was like a last grasp. It was a last grapple to see if there was a path in that direction. And I figured out, for a long, long time, it was fine. For a long, long time, it was fine. I would say for the first, like, 3 or 4 or even 5 months, it was fine. Because I think when you're first starting out, when you have literally 0 viewers, you're working towards 50 followers so you can reach affiliate. I would have said anything to anybody to earn their support, because you're so desperate, I think, to justify the amount of time and the amount of energy you put into it. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I don't mean to speak for other creators.
Of course.
But I would have said anything. I would have done anything to earn people's support. And as my community grew, as my comfort level grew, I began to drop. I was never like subtle about it really, but I began to really like, sort of put out those feelers of what it is. Have you seen the Chainsaw Man meme? They're like, I know what you are.
Not really.
Meme.
I feel the energy.
Yes, it was. I began to put out I signaled the antennas, right? Because I don't know exactly when it was, but it got to a point, it reached a point where I would glance over at chat. Because at this point it had become chat. And I reached over, I would glance over and I would see the he, him words in my chat, and it would begin to sting. It would begin to sting a little bit. And of course, I wasn't upset with other people. I was upset with myself because, how would they know? How would they know? And I realized at a point, right, that like I was asking people to make like a deeply invasive assumption about me based on like some of my like behaviors and things I said and whatnot. Like if somebody's not trans, you probably shouldn't assume that they are. And so I realized that I was being deeply, deeply unreasonable. Like asking people to make that assumption about me. I was being very deeply unreasonable. And, I talked about it privately with a number of people. And if you're somebody that I didn't talk about it privately with, I apologize to you. I was just feeling out my comfort level. But it's like, it's very like, I lost my train of thought.
Take your time.
The original question was what? And I'll wrap it up into that.
The question was, how did VTubing attract you as a trans person?
Oh yeah, because I could present one way and then change how I present, and it would make sense, and it would be, it's somewhat more precedented, right?
I get that.
Next question. I tangented
next-
myself off a cliff.
Don't
I don't
worry.
know.
Don't worry. This next question will likely repeat that tangent. What would you like to say in regards to how VTubing attracts queer folk? What part of it allows you to express yourself as yourself? Or
Well,
at least, using it as one of many ways to allow you to express yourself as you express yourself. I mean, like these models, these are as material as the clothes you wear. Did that make
well, I think it attracts queer creators, queer viewers, queer audience, community members. I think it attracts queer people
Yeah.
because there is just so much freedom of expression. You know, people are generally pretty accepting. You know, I was very cautious and stuff because I was concerned that, you know, things on the internet in many ways, particularly in terms of how people treat queer people, like the internet is policed a little bit differently than the real world is. So in a real world where I think folks perhaps don't have as much acceptance, as much love in their lives or in their communities or their areas, you know, they can turn online, and that is where they find such an accepting community. I mean, the world is as wide as ever, you know. There's likely some other weirdo on this world that is interested in the exact same weird stuff that you are. And so through the power of technology, you know, through the power of technology and anime,
Exactly.
you know, we're able to connect in ways that we never were before. So I think it's a celebration, and I think it's a defense mechanism, and I think it's a natural like result of people. Like I feel like we have, I think after years of like acceptance over various issues and attributes, right? I feel like we've arrived at this point where for the most part we're evaluating people based on their personalities and, you know, what they put out there. You know, I think less perhaps ever than, I think we're judging people less on their attributes for perhaps the lowest level in like human history, right? And so I think that this is a very good place to be yourself and connect with others like you.
How does being a trans VTuber allow you to bring unique narratives and insights to your content?
Well, honestly, so far I haven't really figured out how it's benefiting my content.
I got that.
It's not something that I intend to use as like a shield or a sword. You know, it's like I don't want, and no disrespect to those who are, right? But I don't intend at this time, at least, to be a trans VTuber. It's more like I'm a VTuber who is trans. I don't think it's in the top 3 most interesting things about me or my content or our experiences that we share together. You know, honestly, at this point, I think I was really afraid that people were going to think I did it for attention
I got
or for numbers, more viewers, more followers, anything like that. And that's not why I said that, why I said those words, why I revealed that information. I was just gonna like explode. I was like on fire, and I had to put it out. I think without going, I can't go into too many more specifics, but I think that I have recent examples of it already costing me opportunities. And I can't say exactly what it is. It's something I haven't talked about publicly on stream or online or anything, but I think that it has already cost me opportunities, which stinks. But it is what it is.
And I assume you don't want to go into further detail with those due to a variety of things, like disclosure agreements.
Yeah, you said it, not me.
I just do recall you applying for some things. Let's just keep it as things. That's all.
You said it, not me.
Hey, that's it. I said it. But yeah, pretty much my interpretation of what you say is that you don't want your online self to be hyper fixated on your trans identity. Like
Pretty
it is
much.
a part of you, but it isn't solely you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's I really am kind of conflicted about it because it's like, as a streamer, as a person who streams, I have folks that come into chat when we talk about our days and we have a good time. I'm seen as a leader in many ways sometimes, and this is so foreign to me because it's certainly something that I'm not like a lead. I don't have much experience or ability to provide any leadership in this department. If folks came to my channel looking for support or encouragement, we could certainly provide that. But I don't know what sort of advice or what's the word I'm looking for? Advice or stories of examples, I could provide to people because, I'm really kind of going through this for the first time myself. So it's definitely something that I have a little bit of there's still a little bit of a question mark attached to it in my content. For example, many times, not all times, but in many times, the second phrase to the word, or the second part to the phrase transfem is non-binary. Transfem non-binary is usually the full phrase. But I've never particularly identified myself as non-binary, But as I've come out, as people have begun using she pronouns for me, lots of folks were calling me queen, which is really cool. It was really cool, and people have been so nice and so wonderful. I genuinely haven't received a single negative comment or piece of feedback. I think the one thing, the only thing that like kind of counts, right, is during the announcement stream, there was a first-time chatter who came in, and they said like, I don't think this is going to be the stream for me. Congrats though. Yeah, it's like that. I think that has been the most negative thing that I've seen. People have been wonderful. But I understand the dissonance at play, right? As I look, and oftentimes I speak as I do, and people are using she pronouns on me. Like, I understand the dissonance there, It's one of those things that begs for more context. And as, perhaps a new viewer on my Twitch channel or anything like that, it's it's the context is not readily available.
Mhm.
I often, if you were to watch one of my streams or watch one of my what I've begun to realize, right, is that if you watch one of my streams, if you watch one of my shorts, if you enjoy a YouTube video I make or whatever, it's not particularly required for you to understand or respect my gender. I think it is more important if folks just have fun. Really, I really do think that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think perhaps I'm swinging a little bit back in that towards that non-binary spectrum or whatnot. I don't know. It's so confusing. It's all so confusing. I like people don't talk about this stuff, and they struggle with their identity and stuff for a long time. And I see why. I mean, I do myself, of course, but it's not easy to ask these sort of questions and have this sort of conversation with yourself, or particularly with others, because so much of it is, we're not talking about who is going to score the most points in the upcoming football game. Mm-hmm. We're talking about things that are at the crux of your identity, and so it's difficult, and it's a spectrum, and it's hard to talk about. It's hard to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always like to put in the caveat that with anything that becomes normalized, it also the end goal of it practically becomes mundane.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the end goal of normalization is just to have things happen day to day,
Mm-hmm.
and then overall, it's a pretty boring end goal,
We take boring.
Yeah.
Hey, we take boring at this point.
Yeah. Boring is boring, but you know what? Boring is sometimes good.
Sure is.
Yeah. Is there an impression or message you'd like to express as somewhat a part of the growing network of queer content creators, or content creators that are also queer? There we go.
Queerators.
Queerators, exactly.
Queerators.
Queerators. They queerate their creations. We have to work on that. But yeah,
we do.
We do. At least for me.
We I think you're onto something. Just based on my experience so far, if you're worried about something, I would encourage you to talk to other folks about it. I have had some folks have reached out to me privately with some situations that they've had, and I'm always happy to have those conversations with folks. And I'm sure if you're queer, or you're questioning some things about yourself, and you want to bounce thoughts off somebody's head, I encourage you to do so, because I think you may be shocked at how supported you really, really are, especially from the fellow queer people in your life. The amount of support that I've received is just incredible. I hope that the people who have reached out to me with their own struggles, I hope they feel supported as well. If you're upset, or you're questioning, or you're feeling something about yourself, and you need a second pair of eyes or ears on a situation, I would encourage you to reach out and talk to somebody about it. because I think the odds that you'll be supported are a lot higher than you imagine.
All right. So, building a community. You want to go into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right. As we know, building communities around content is very important, correct? What do you say so?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe the community you've fostered so far?
My community are a bunch of fantastic people. I think that everybody in my community is very open-minded, very chill. You know, I intentionally like built it as like a safe place because I figured I would probably need it in the future, you know. But we've like never had those sort of conversations. It's been a real joy for me to see folks form their own friendships throughout my community, you know, playing games together off stream. I know there was one time I particularly enjoyed. I don't recall what we were doing on stream, but I remember one time people were messaging me and they were like, "Yeah, we're playing Minecraft. Like we're off on a boating adventure together right now." And it's like, y'all have fun, you know. I'm glad y'all are having fun. So folks are making friends. Everybody's chill. Everybody's cool. It feels like, I don't know. It feels I've done an interesting thing where half of my community are based in the North America evening time zone, and half of my community is from me streaming Overwatch at 4 o'clock in the morning, as I can't sleep. So like I feel like half of my community has just like, you know, have you seen, you know, the one about the parallel lines that move like together through the world but they'll never cross? That's how I feel about some of my community sometimes.
Really?
which is kind of funny. Yeah, I mean there are folks that have never interacted with each other, which is kind of strange. But you know, my founders, my regulars, I'll never completely leave that time slot where they all hang out, because that's one of my favorite parts. You know, the people that I've known for months and months and months and months is, you know, they're very special people, and I like them. I consider them friends. You know, I know a lot of people. There are a lot of opinions about the relationships between creators and their communities, but like I genuinely like mine. I consider us friends. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I get a little offended when people aren't saying hi. Sometimes, you know, I'm like, yeah, I tend to take things too personally sometimes. But it's because it's like I do like people. I do like them. You know, I want to be friends. So I love my community. I love my community. We need a freaking name though, people. We need a name. See, this is one of the things. Like it goes back to my lack of original creativity. You know, yeah. Like we don't need a name. We can't do villagers because we sound like Animal Crossing people.
Why not? Why not adopt that though?
Because I don't want to infringe on Nintendo's copyright.
Nah.
There's only a handful of people on this planet I don't want to infringe on the copyright of.
Believe me, you're not going to be able to get
take on Nintendo. Take on Nintendo.
Calling your fan base villagers.
I don't want to be a villager though. I don't want to be a villager. It sounds lame. It sounds kind of lame. I don't want to be a villager. It's like, hey, villagers. What? No.
We'll see.
We're looking like, I don't know. It's like, do we pick something cool, even though it's not necessarily thematically correct? Do we pick things like, I don't know,
the village of the something?
We are from Blood Moon Village. I'm the Shinobi idol of Blood Moon Village. I know Blood Roses was an idea that was thrown around. Rebels was an idea that was thrown around. Moonies?
Or
We,
boonies.
you know,
Boonies. Or bloomies.
okay.
Or bloonies.
I don't know. I don't have that original creativity dog in me. You know,
Hey,
I feel like I have my skill. I have skill points in a lot of other trees. You know, but like creating original concepts and stuff is kind of difficult for me. It really is. I wish people would just like come up with like 15, you know, and they'd be like, pick one. That would be way easier for me. Gosh.
When did you start seeing a community form or start to form?
It was shortly after I reached affiliate. One of my subscription perks, of course, is access to the Minecraft server. And I remember we had our first community day not long afterwards. And you know, I have like literally, I probably have like 54 followers at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have our first community Minecraft day, and literally like at least 4 people showed up. So like if I have, let's say I have 55 followers for the sake of math, right? Like 10% of my community shows up to Minecraft community day. It's like, whoa. This was crazy. Like, we have a screenshot of all of us. Many of us have like custom Minecraft skins sitting in it, like our little community plaza and stuff. And that's when it felt for me. It was like, okay, all right, this is something's going on here. And that was the first time. A couple months ago, I was just having like a rough day, and I canceled the stream. And I was like, yeah, can we do it in Discord instead? Like, can I do the same stream, but just like in Discord? I was just like not capable of interacting with the outside world, you know? Like most of the times on Twitch, when someone types in your chat for the first time, it says around their name, it says first time chatter. You know, oftentimes that's like a great thing. You know, you have an opportunity to make a new fan, a new viewer, a new follower, or whatnot. But I just knew, like, this particular day, like, my mindset, I was just like, I'm gonna like have a breakdown if I see a first time chatter today. I was just like, please no, stop it. So we did the stream in Discord, and there were so many people that showed up. Honestly, I think that more people might have showed up to the Discord stream than if it was a Twitch stream, which was crazy for me. But you know, that was another example of my community being there for me and for each other. We just played games, had a lot of fun.
I got that. How do you let's oh wait, I have to ask this. So that's where that question went about overbooking yourself. How do you approach creating a sense of connection and camaraderie with your audience during your stream?
The chat is the most important thing for me. I'm sure that my viewers will agree. Like, if you type in chat, I will respond like instantly. Like, I'm in a clutch in Valorant, right? Like, I'm reading and responding to chat. Like, I understand that chat is the most important thing in this whole process, which is why, like, there's a couple times that I've done streams where like chat interaction isn't a big focus of it, and they never do well. and it always kind of like, it's kind of weird for me, right? Because, and then I realized it's like, well, Robin, that's what you fostered, you know, that's your niche, right? Like, I would say my number one strongest strength as a chatter, as a streamer, is my chat interaction, like hands down. And then so like I do streams where it's not the focus, and then I'm like, it doesn't do well. It's like, well, what do you expect? But like even during this stream, like I look over and I see all the chatters, and it's low key killing me to not just tangent with chat, because I get sucked down into weird rabbit holes, and I love to go off the rabbit holes with folks, because I think that's really what it's about. I think it's notice me, senpai, I am. See, look how quick I am. I said that before it even popped up on the stream chat. Like I'm reading chat constantly. And I recognize that that's the most important part. People want to be seen, people want to be heard. I think the most important thing, like earlier I said, I think that my community would honestly prefer if I didn't play video games sometimes. And I think it's because the most important thing that we can do is just talk to each other and share our experiences, share our days, and build a personal connection to ourselves with each other.
How do you handle different types of interactions within your community? Has there ever been any toxicity that brewed?
No, there hasn't. I really can't think of any examples where toxicity has brewed. One time there was just like a weird user. Oh, we just banned him. I just banned him. I say it wasn't my bot team. It was just me. I did it. It was weird. This user was strange. I could tell that everybody thought this user was strange. You know? So we just removed this user from the premises. And then afterwards, they like continued to produce strange behavior, which like made me feel very, very justified in removing this user from the premises. But really, there hasn't been like, it's really like really been like a pretty cool place. I think there's like less than 5 people banned from my Twitch chat. Like people really don't come in and cause a ruckus. People, there really hasn't been like many toxicity or moderation, community issues, anything like that. It's just now I'll say I've had personal disagreements and issues with folks behind the scenes, you know, folks that, you know, perhaps you don't see too often in the channel or at all anymore. But I know better than to, you know, I think 9 times out of 10, you know, there's no reason to like air these disagreements or personal squabbles publicly, you know, like who does this serve? Who does it help? What does it do? You know, so not to say it's always been, you know, sunshine and roses, but I think the chat and Discord and stuff has generally been a really clean and positive place, and I'm pretty proud of that.
I got that. So, looking back on your journey so far, were there any moments, achievements, or realizations that stand out as particularly impactful or significant to your growth as a content creator?
The Doki Doki stream, that was a real like not, I hate to think of things as like step ladders, you know, or like stepping stones or anything. I think that stream was a real like stepping stone stream where we evolved and we went to the next level. I've been on Fillian's stream twice,
Alright.
which was really cool, and it's very interesting to see. I really should make like a video of the first and second times that it happened, because the first time I wasn't even an affiliate yet. I had like 48 followers. I was just a little guy.
Little dude.
And I remember, it was a dating show, and I knew I was trans at this point. And like they asked, it's like, are you going in the male lobby or the female lobby? And I go in the male lobby, of course. And I felt really weird about that, and that was one of the things where I was like, okay, well, you feel weird about that. Like, that was a real clue to me. But gosh, it's so funny to see the difference in my behavior the first time and the second time. Because the first time, I'm just like, they asked us to prepare like a question about ourselves. Like, like prepare an interesting fact about yourself. And mine was that I hadn't had ranch dressing until I was like over 21 years of age.
Wow.
And I was so, yeah, right. I thought it was pretty interesting. But I was so nervous, right? That like no matter what happened, I just like was white knuckled, clenching myself to the fact. I couldn't adjust whatsoever, and I was nervous, and I think it showed. I handled it really well, right? But I think it showed. And the second time, I was just like a gunslinger. I was just like, I'm not gonna curse on your channel, but I was like, I almost did. But I was like shooting from the hip. I felt like a cowboy with revolvers, right? I felt like I had 2 6-shooters, and I was just like, pow, Philia get blasted, pow, or Arya get blasted, Nikita, boom, you get powed. Like, I felt just so much more comfortable, and that was a real like transitional moment for me, or at least to see those two experiences so like side by side with each other. That really was interesting for me.
Well, you all hear it here, folks. Ranch dressing makes you transition.
Oh my gosh. Too much. It'll do it.
Yeah. Little bit of a clip there,
Oh, Bass has been clipping. He posted one on my Discord.
Oh, cool.
I'll be looking later. I will. I'll send it to you.
Awesome, thank you.
I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but
they're my shortcuts to content. But yeah.
Speaking of Bass, he has a question in the chat.
Yeah, we might as well finish it up. This section only has one more. Actually, yeah, 2 more questions.
Cool. We'll do it whatever order you prefer.
Let's do that like second to last or after this one. What would you like to achieve with your content in the long term, and how do you envision your legacy, or your legacy as a creator?
Oh God.
Big question.
Big question, right? Big question.
Who do you want to be remembered by, or how do you want to be remembered?
I'll say this. I legitimately, before I decided to publicly come out on stream, I legitimately contemplated graduation. Rather, it was pretty much to those who enjoy my streams, enjoy my content, and aren't thrilled with the latest news. Just know that the other option was having no streams, no content. Because what I really struggled with was, I know that there are, and nobody's ever given me this like impression, right? That they were anti-LGBT, anti-trans or anything. Nobody's ever given me that impression, right? Mm-hmm. But I know somewhere out there throughout in this journey, right? I know that there's someone who has had a positive interaction with me or my content that me coming out would retroactively negatively like affect it, right? So like I'm sure that there was someone out there who enjoyed, excuse me. I'm sure that there was someone out there who enjoyed, perhaps the Doki Doki streams, and they enjoyed it because, well, here's this male VTuber. Oh, and he's trying to do the girl voices, voice acting and whatnot as the girls, and wow, that was just such a great series, like good for him. I enjoyed that experience, and then they find out later, well, I wasn't voice acting the girls' voices for fun. I was doing it for practice.
Mm.
I really wrestled with the thought of harnessing someone's positive experience that they had in my stream in the past with this news. Because what I think I want my legacy to be like is I want to be remembered for the experiences that we've had together. I want people to be able to bullet point some of their favorite experiences we share together. So like Doki Doki for the very first time, The Last of Us alongside the TV show. I want to do really, really interesting things that I know I'm like mostly at this point like a personality streamer. Like I think a lot of people watch me for me. A lot of people, I'm so thankful, they'll watch regardless of what I do, really, which is just the greatest honor. But every time that I get a chance to do something that I'm like particularly interested in, like The Expanse right now, my Twitch audience is not into it. They don't like it. And I understand, it's a niche sci-fi TV show that's now become a walking and talking video game. I understand. I understand how people might not like it. So that was on Twitch, that was a bit of a swing and a miss. On YouTube, it's doing very, very well for me. But I will continue to swing and miss to provide people interesting experiences. If I can show people new things, if we can have fun times together doing something interesting, then I'll always put my foot forward to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to remember, and I don't think people will remember, the goofy Valorant moments. But I think, I'm sure that they will, but I don't think that's like the core Robin Osiria experience. I think I'm a little more pretentious than that. I think it'll be something a little more. I haven't found my like. I think every creator is like searching for like the thing, right? The thing that not necessarily like makes them go viral, the big thing that gets them going. It's like I don't want to honestly, I'm not like concerned about going viral. I don't want to. I'm enjoying the time that I have with my community. Sometimes things get overwhelming and I have a tendency to like self-sabotage myself sometimes when they do, just to keep it kind of comfortable. But I haven't quite found that big thing that we're going to be about, that we're going to remember our time together for. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I promise that I'm going to keep swinging until I figure it out.
Mm. I will go on to fastest session. At what point were you like, damn? Out on my animation scatter. Damn, you're a big streamer. I'm a big streamer.
Well,
When
see,
was that?
that's the thing. That's the thing is I am and I'm not at the same time, right? Like, according to some statistics, I'm in the top 1% of Twitch.
Top 1% of Twitch?
Which mathematically I think I am. That feels about right?
You're one of those 1%ers.
If not, it's kind of close, which is kind of scary. It's kind of scary, right? But I am and I'm not. Like, a lot of folks who don't realize like how difficult it can be to get the 3 viewers that you need for affiliate. It's hard. It's hard. Can you imagine 3 people watching sitting in your room watching you play video games, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. It's more than it sounds, especially with the vast broadness of the internet, all the different content, especially, short form content, like live streams. It's so hard to compete, which is why really I kind of structure my streams almost as background noise, almost as background noise, because I know it's very, very like how I can't watch streams for even like 2 hours of like full attention anymore, right? How could I expect that of an audience realistically? So I kind of, I structure it as a place so where no matter what we're doing, no matter what's going on, like anybody can hang out, listen, it'll be pleasant. I don't like the loud jump scare noises, the obnoxious noises and stuff like that. Like, I want it to be a nice, comfortable place that people will see friends and talk to friends. And to get back to Baz's question, at what point you were like, damn, I'm a big streamer?
I think I'll get better. I might want to modify that a little bit. When do you think you'll become a big streamer?
I don't know because what I thought it was going to be was shattered. I'll confess, I used to check my live viewer count a lot. Like, sometimes not like on purpose. I know most streamers that you watch, are going to have that thing off. They don't want to see the ups and downs a lot of the times, because a lot of the times it has nothing to do with you, right? Like if somebody leaves, like maybe they got a package in the mail, and they had to leave. But then you can get in your own head about like, oh, like they didn't like that joke, so they left or whatnot. So like, I didn't watch it like that, and a lot of people will have it off like that. Like if stuff is slow, I used to peak sometimes, and I'll never peak again, and I'll tell you why. Because during my 24-hour stream, things started off very, very hot. Everything was going great. Very active chat. Everybody was having fun. I was eating dinner. We were just kind of chatting, deciding what we were going to get into first. And then towards the like 8, 9, 10 hour mark, things were really, really slow. Things were really, really slow. And of course, I think most creators would like to improve each month, right? So for me, my most important metric is concurrent viewers. If I gain about 2 concurrent viewers a month, that's considered like I'm very, very happy about that. And so in July, I had 15, which is crazy. That's like Bass says, what point you're like, damn, I'm a big streamer. If you have 15 average viewers, like you're in the top 1%, or if not, like very, very close to it, right? That's huge. That's a lot of viewers. 15 people, that's a lot of viewers.
Yeah, it's a small classroom.
Yeah, right. It's a classroom that a second grader teacher would be happy to teach. And so I remember towards the like 8 9-10 hour of the 24-hour mark, chat was very, very, very slow. Very slow. I'm talking like a message every 30 minutes. Slow. And I was thinking to myself, it's like, I don't know if I can do this. Things are slow. I wasn't sure how many viewers I was getting. I wasn't sure if folks were having fun and whatnot. And I messaged one of my friends, my mods, and I was like, how's it going? Like in terms of performance, right? It's like, how's it going? And he's like, it's good, keep going. It's good, keep going. And I'm like, is it well? He's like, it's good, keep going. Like stop thinking about it, keep going. Okay. And then like later I clarified, I was like, last month our average was 15. If we can go higher than 15, that's really, really good. And he said, it's fine, keep going. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't look at the viewer count the whole stream because there was no way. I knew there was no way I was going to survive if I was like counting viewers over the course of 24 hours. I was, shout out to Past Robin for realizing that, but I didn't look at it the whole time. But I looked at it after the stream because honestly, one of the reasons I tried to do a 24-hour stream is to figure out when most of my viewers are around. Low key, I'm going to track you all down in a spreadsheet. When did they leave? When did they start chatting? When did they stop? But it's so funny because the time that chat was completely dead and I was asking my friend how it was going, I was like, is it more than 15 viewers? There were 38 viewers. And I had no idea, and it didn't change anything. Chat wasn't magically more active. Chat, nobody was. I mean, I was having fun. It's Bloodborne. I'm not. It's pretty hard not to have a fun time in Bloodborne. But it didn't make a difference. It didn't make a difference in how much fun I had, just because I had additional viewers. So I thought that I was chasing concurrent viewer incline. But I'm not sure that I am anymore. I'm not sure what I am. That's really something that I need to sit down with myself and figure out because I need some new goals. I need some new goals because right now I don't know when I will feel like, damn, I'm a big streamer. I don't know. I objectively know that I kind of am. But it doesn't really feel like it. It's what one of the things that it is when I go into other people's chats, and if you're watching this, stop doing this to me. When I go into other people's chats and they are like, Robin, or like multiple members of their community are like, hi Robin. I'm like, I'm just gonna like not chat. Like I'm just gonna lurk because it's low key. It's kind of like exhausting. Sometimes when I pop in places, people are like, Robin, and I'm like, no, stop it. That makes me feel like a big streamer, and not necessarily in a fun way. I don't like. I'm a VTuber fan, just like everybody else. Like I know sometimes VTubers will like come into chats to like self promote themselves, and like I never do that. Sometimes I just want to hang out, and then people. That's what it is. I've just realized what the problem is because I come in and then people are like, Robin. Like sometimes I'll get like shouted out just for like saying hi in a chat. And I'm just like, I'm not here to. It makes me feel like I'm self-promoting, even though I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying hi, hanging out. So that makes me feel like a big streamer. Robin needs an alt account. How do you know I don't already have one?
Yeah, who knows?
How do you know I don't already have one?
Who knows if one of you are not just secretly Robin?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Everyone's a plant. How do you envision How do you envision the growth and evolution of your content and channel in the future? How do you see yourself a year from now?
Oh gosh, a year from now? One year from now?
Yeah.
I'd like to be Twitch partner 1 year from now.
Which part? Mhm.
I'd like to be Twitch partner 1 year from now. Which, for those at home who may not understand, the 75 average viewers lot. I mean, I already beat the streaming requirements, but you need 75. I like taking on challenges to see that I can do them.
Mhm.
I haven't publicized this yet, but one of my goals for 2023 is to reach 1,000 followers on Twitch, and I'm kind of running out of time. I was on a really good track, but I'm kind of running out of time. But I also don't really care that much because followers really don't mean anything. So I'm kind of unsure how I feel about all that at this point. But that was one of my goals. Is it really? But I hesitate to consider anything like a failure like that. If you shoot for 1,000 and at this current rate, we land in the 800s, you didn't fail. That's a lot of followers. So I don't know. I think at this point I'm moving beyond metrics and stuff. I'm trying not to worry about things that I can't control. I want to make more, even better stuff. I want to be even more intentional. I want to balance YouTube and Twitch more. I want to balance the two more and do more on YouTube, because I think really my content style is better suited for YouTube, to be honest, 100%. To be honest, I don't know. I need to find 1 year from now. I'd like to be Twitch partner, but it's going to be tough, if not impossible. But I hate to put myself through a gauntlet of things I cannot control to try and do that, because it doesn't make any sense and it's not sustainable. So I think what I will try and do is have as much fun as possible and share that experience with as many people as I can. Because sometimes I don't have fun. Sometimes I'm super pretentious and I'm this is what we should be doing. This is good VTuber content, for people with good taste and highbrow entertainment, and I get up my own where about it. I get in my own head about it. And I think what I'm going to try and do is just relax and have a lot more fun. I already have so much fun, but I'd like to have even more fun and just do all sorts of stuff and be real when it's time to be serious, be really intentional. And I think that's the key. I think that's where we'll be 1 year from now, just even more confident, even more comfortable. I think we'll have done a lot of cool stuff between now and then. Mm-hmm. Stuff that nobody else could have done. Stuff that only we could do together. And I think that's what gets me in front of the computer every day at this point.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everybody. All right, everyone. We will be concluding this episode of the show. Thank you very much for coming to the stream or the VOD. Thank you very much, Robin, for your time and energy.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Himm-chan. I'm Robin Osiria, the Shinobi Idol. You can find me everywhere. My handle is @RobinOVT across Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and more. So I hope to see you around the internets. And thank you again, Him-chan, for having me. I really, really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
I hope so. You chatters will be able to chatters and VOD watchers will be able to find the links to her socials down in the description below. Check her out, like, subscribe, and yeah, I think we'll be good here. So, bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.